Hello, welcome to Sky Sweaty Record Review, episode 144. It's the only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after leaving the gym. Now, I finally did it. I finally recorded an episode at night. I'm in my funk basement, here in the dark, partially lit by my computer, and I'm here to review an album by Katerina. The name of the album is Who Am I If I'm Not Me? And, it's basically my third electronic album in a row that I've reviewed. Cassius and Holy Ghost. And it wasn't really intentional. A lot of the rock offerings and the rap offerings, I don't know, Gucci Mane? Do I really want to review, what's his face? Mark Ronson? Not really. So, I kind of went out of the box for this one, especially for this one by Katerina. Now, there's sort of two superficial reasons that I picked this. First of all, the title and the cover bear a very strong resemblance to Billie Eilish. And now, thanks to my daughter's fanaticism, I've heard Billie Eilish a ton lately. And I like the album a good bit. You can watch my review if you want. But having the title of the album be a long existential question, where do we go when we fall asleep? And if I'm not me, who am I? And then both of them feature a young woman in kind of a menacing, dark background with a bright light on them in the center. I mean, here's Katerina, so you can kind of get an idea what that looks like. I think she's like at a dock or something, swimming. And so that was my sort of first superficial reason. I kind of thought, okay, maybe this is like Billie Eilish. It's not. Although, in a way it is. I'll get to that later. And then the other reason is she's Bulgarian, and I will be technically in Bulgaria at some point next month. Maybe I'll do a video from there. So, I don't know. I said that's a little bit like Billie Eilish. The only way that it's like Billie Eilish is that I think that modern technology is democratized. Okay, I think. I'm prefacing it by saying I think, and then I'm going to say something completely self-evident. I think that the democratization of music production is going to mean more representation of previously underrepresented groups. That's why I'm a professor. So I think we're going to get a lot more albums and music from young women who maybe wouldn't have felt enfranchised before, young women who maybe would have felt that they needed somebody else's guidance, or who wouldn't have felt they had a voice. I think that we're living in this golden age, and in a way, Billie Eilish, with her brother, of course, her album, her basically self-produced pop album, is evidence of this. That you can just make music and you can make it. And this is like that in that way, and only that way. This is a weird album. It's like subtle and indulgent at the same time. So when I say it's subtle, I mean it's an electronic album. Most of it is very just sort of downbeat, nothing too exciting. You can't really dance to it. You couldn't really meditate to it either. It's not that great to exercise to, but somehow it's a charming, nice, consistent, well-layered piece of music. A good example is, the first track. It just starts off with the sound of birds and woodpeckers, and she has this sort of strategy of having maybe 5 or 6 layers total in a song, and they don't really build to a crescendo or anything, but they're usually kind of circular, so they'll kind of go up and they'll go down, and it's nice. I mean, that sounds like I'm damning it with faint praise. It's just praise. It's nice. It's well done. Some of the tracks are more upbeat. Like the second track, Dog Days, has kind of this burpy bass. She does something that's nice, where she'll usually save the most spectacular element of a song towards the end. So in that example, boy, the light is terrible for my computer. I'm going back to this. She'll hit a snare, or later in one of the last songs. Actually, the last song, It's Too Late, she'll have this nice piano kind of come in at the end, and it's well layered, and yet at times I wanted more. Maybe it would have been nice if I had more melodies to walk away, but it's sort of this weird category of music that I've been running into a lot lately, which is well, why why did someone make this? It's not bad, but like, what is trying to be expressed? I don't know, but it's pleasant music, and I'm glad it exists. I'm gonna play you my stamp, my favorite song on the album. That's the song "The Way You Are Far," and this is nice because it's sort of her going in a different direction. So most of this feels like the best song on a soundtrack that's kind of a subtle soundtrack of like a, you know, instrumental kind of driving, swirling, circular electronic sounds in the back, right? But the song "The Way You Are Far" is almost like a weird offbeat 80s song that you sort of remember but don't quite. So I'm going to play that a little bit for you right here, just to give you an idea. Maybe you're going to like Katerina. This is actually pretty different than the way she usually is, having this kind of pulsing rhythm. Usually the rhythms are a little bit more restrained. So, you know, she has like this weak voice. Tell me why. Kind of reminds me of the Raincoats or the Mekons. Not like a weak voice, like maybe she can actually sing, but she sings it with an intentional weakness to it. And then this other voice just says, you know, so she says, "Tell me why," and then the big voice says, "Why you are the way you are." And then she does this great thing with this guitar, this kind of scritchy guitar that goes left to right over and over again. And so that do 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 do, it's a nice sound, and it's a good example of the most interesting parts of this record. So I think you get the idea. I'm going to stick with what I said earlier for my 3-word review. It's subtle and yet a little bit indulgent. And by that I mean some of the songs maybe go on a little too long, maybe it could be a little bit less subtle at points, maybe a little more like things to hold on to. You know, maybe pull up some of those exciting parts that she saves towards the end and make them more exciting. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm missing the point of this whole record. I don't know. But I liked it. Alright, well, until next time, where hopefully it's going to be some rock and roll, some guitar, or some rap, but not Lil Nas X. I tried it. I'm not going to review that. All right. Until next time, there's the camera.